All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at doing something a little different with the WarDragon Pro. I actually have a kit set up that I'm getting ready to take with me to a competition tomorrow that hopefully the WarDragon is going to win. But since I have it set up and I've been asked this recently, what else can the WarDragon Pro do, particularly the software-defined radio that's included in the kit? I just want to show something and just kind of walk through something here. Uh, I purposely designed the kit to, out of the box, do something and act as a headless remote sensor, and I wanted to integrate ATAC and TAC. And so the AntSDR is running a firmware that is kind of being taken over internally and is looking across 2.4 and 5 gigahertz for DJI's OcuSync and particularly the DroneID. That can be changed whether you change the firmware on the SD card with a UHD based firmware that opens up a whole lot of possibilities of the AntSDR and the WarDragon running all sorts of things to include OpenBTS, SRS, RAN 4G, a lot of different opportunities. There's a modified Pluto firmware out there. I'm probably not even saying it right. Taziki. I'm just trying to go from memory here. That can do some fantastic things and allow you to use the software-defined radio just like you normally would. But let's say you got tired of looking at DJI DroneID and your box is out remote. There's a little something I put together, and if we go into our WarDragon directory in the AntSDR DJI DroneID, I do have this thing hooked to the internet. I'm going to do a git pull. I'm also going to do a sudo app install SSH pass. And so this is a little bit of some hackery here. The script that I've put together that basically goes inside the AntSDR and stops the DroneID services so that we can use the SDR like you normally would use, say, for example, a PlutoSDR. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's say I go and I open up SDR is a really good application here. It has native support for the PlutoSDR. So you'll see that it finds the AntSDR because it is running a Pluto, basically a Pluto-like firmware. I think you may get about 10 megahertz or so. I can't remember specifically off the top of my head. You definitely get a lot more bandwidth if you have the UHD firmware. I think you can get closer to like 20. That other Taziki, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, that does some where it drops, I think, from 12-bit to 8-bit, and then gets you where you can get more bandwidth. But let me just show you what I mean here. So if I start this up, I should point out that I have the antennas replaced, the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, actually by two Kraken SDR antennas. And so you'll notice when I started it up, it started on 95 megahertz, and then it just looks like it's going crazy. That is because it is being controlled internally and bouncing all around. So you really can't use it like you would expect. But if we come down here into our AntSDR DJI drone directory and we do an SH on the service controller, you got two options, stop or start. So if I do stop, it should go in and it should give you an indication that the remote kill script was executed. Okay, so I didn't have to go flip the switch on the AntSDR. That's another thing I'll point out. It's by default when I ship it out, it's set to the SD setting, SD card setting. It's up under the Ethernet. You can actually look under the Ethernet and flip it to the left and remove power from the AntSDR and apply power back. And it will be running from a firmware that is baked into the AntSDR and is a plain Pluto-like firmware. I just didn't want to do any of that, so I created this little script. Now, when I change the what am I trying to say? The frequency here. Let me go off of take it way off and then take it back. Now I have control over the SDR, and so if I'm hooked up to a HDMI monitor here. If I wanted to say, let's see, blue microphone, built in audio. One of these options here. Recording output. Well, now I say that it's going to make me a liar, but you could get audio out of here. You got to change some settings here. Normally it's set to the internal. It might be something to do with me recording. But anyways, I just wanted to show how you can take control of the SDR. And then something I thought, wow, this is pretty interesting. If I go and I start up OpenWebRX, which is, what is that under? I think that's under ham radio, or it might be under other. Right here, and I have that pointed to just the basic OpenWebRX, which is a web-based SDR receiver. There is OpenWebRX Plus, and I promise I do want to dig into that. It has tons of demodulators for all sorts of different things. I'm just sticking with a basic one here, and this link just starts up a desktop shortcut that starts the server with sudo here, and just leaves it running, so you kind of have more control over it, and it doesn't start up on boot. But I'm seriously considering just having this running because it doesn't necessarily harm anything. And if we look at our OpenWebRX settings here, and we look at the comp file, you can see it runs on 8073. So if I do a localhost 8073 here, it's going to get me access to the OpenWebRX web interface, but there's no SDRs set up that we have. So if we go under settings, default is admin, and we check our SDR profiles, we can see we have 3 that are not really applicable because we don't have those devices in the WarDragon, but we can add a new device and we can test this out. Say Pluto or AntSDR test. We drop down, and because I have the AntSDR like firmware on there, I can do PlutoSDR. Apply and save. You can add additional settings to that SDR, whether it's device gain. There's a lot of different options here, waterfall levels. I'm just going to leave it default, and I'm going to look at a new profile. And again, I'm just going to say, I'll just probably name it AntSDR test. I'll put it on 95. Let's put it on 95 megahertz sample rate. I'll just put, I don't know, 5. Initial frequency, let's do 95 again. Modulation, you see we got various different types of modulation that could be applied to this particular profile. It kind of starts out with that. That's good for right now, I think. Apply and save. You'll look over here, it's already opening the PlutoSDR. Just consider that the AntSDR. So if I let me see, if I come back, well, it's definitely not where I'm at. I didn't want the map, but basically I just wanted to come back to the main interface here. And now we can see that our WarDragon, while still doing Wi-Fi and Bluetooth based remote ID and sending to TAC, we can take control of the SDR here, and now we can have a web-based SDR. We don't have to stream a lot of data out of the internet connection, which, by the way, the USB dongle is USB 2.0 because I had it in my mind. It's just less interference with the GPS. That can be changed for a USB 3, but keep that in mind that because it's USB 2, it's only like 100 meg connection. So the intent was never to stream IQ data off the WarDragon. I mean, it can, and that adapter could be changed to a gig adapter, but in this case you're not even having to. You're doing the digital signal processing, you're doing the waterfall demodulation, everything right on the WarDragon, and you're just simply viewing the web page. So although I'm recording on this and pulling up the web page local, if this was networked to one or more, you could, reach out, connect to your WarDragon, and see what is going on just in the Spectrum in general. Again, the UHD firmware probably going to get you more bandwidth. Where this becomes interesting is even if you're still wanting to look at drone operations, for example, you could use the Spectrum analyzer tools that are in DragonOS and take control of the AntSDR. You can do sweeps with SIGDigger at pretty fast speed, and so you can see a wide chunk of the spectrum. You can kind of see what's going on there and figure out what those signals may be. Here I'm just looking at FM. I kind of just threw this video together because I'm getting this kit ready, but I wanted to point some of these things out. If I missed anything, just let me know in the description. But really, it's just kind of showing that tool, how to stop the services if you choose to do so. Anytime you remove power and plug power back in, when you have used that script I showed you, it's going to start back up running the DJI things anyways. You can, of course, use the script with the SH, the script name, and start, and it'll go back and start the services. So it's just a pretty cool way of using the WarDragon for other purposes of looking at the electromagnetic spectrum, and I just thought I'd share that. All right, have a good one.